dividing a number by 585, a student employed the method of short division. He divided the number successfully by 5, 9 and 13, which are all factors of 585, and got the remainders as 4, 8 and 12 respectively. If he had divided the number by 585, the remainder would have been dash. Will it be 24, 144, 292 or 584? These are the options given there. Let us solve it. Let us solve it using the conventional method first, which again is not very complex. Let's understand what actually happens here. So what do we have to do? He says a person has to divide a number by 585, right? A student has to divide a number by 585. Now what he does, he has employed a short division method, right? The short division method, where what we do is, you will take the factors of 585 and instead of dividing the number by 585, you will divide it by the factors of 585 successively. So he divided the number successively by 5, 9 and 13. Pay attention, 5 into 9 into 13 is 585. 5 9 is 45. 45 into 13 will be 585. So basically he has found that 585 is equal to 5 into 9 into 13. So instead of dividing by 585, he first divided by number by 5. He has got some quotient. Divided the quotient by 9. He has got some new quotient. He has divided that quotient by 13. And in this process, he has got the remainders as 4, 8 and 12 respectively. For 5, he has got the remainder as 4. When he divided by 9, he has got the remainder as 8. And when he divided by 13, he has got the remainder as 12. You're able to follow. Instead of dividing in one shot by 585, he first divided by number by 5. He got some quotient and the remainder was 4. Then he divided that quotient by 9. He got the remainder as 8. Then he divided the new quotient by 13. He's got the remainder as 12. Now the question is, instead of doing all this drama, if he had divided the number by 585 directly, what would be the remainder? Instead of doing all this, if he divides the number by 585 directly, what will be the remainder? Let us understand the process. Let us assume the number is n. Again, you don't have to write this step in the exam, but understand the process. Let us assume the number to be n. Right? Let's assume the number is n. Right? Let's assume the number to be n. Now understand the process. What are we doing? We divide n by 5. So divide n by 5, what happens? I mean, just write it in the regular division format, right? So the number n is getting divided by 5. Let's say you get the quotient as q1. You will get some values here and the remainder is 4. What do you do in the next step? What follows is, now you will divide the quotient. The new quotient becomes your divisor and this is divided by 9. You will get a new quotient q2 and then whatever is the remainder is 8. Then goes to the next step. What is the next step? In the next step, q2 becomes the new divisor, right? q2 is the quotient here, that q2 becomes the new divisor. You will divide this by how much? 13. Successive divisions, right? First divide by 5, whatever result you get, divide by 9. So we got a result as q1, we divided by 9. We got a result as q2, we are dividing q2 by 13, right? And let's say you will get q3. The new quotient is q3. And what is the remainder in this case? 12. Remainder is 12. Right? Now understand what happens. In this, can I say the number q2 is equal to 13 q3 plus 12? That's how we do, right? The divisor is equal to, the dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. Yes or no? q2 can be obtained as 13 times the quotient, 13 times q3 plus the remainder 12, remaining is 12. Similarly in this, what will be the value q1? The dividend q1 can be taken as divisor times quotient, 9 into q2 plus the remainder 8, right? And what happens here in this case, the number n can be taken as 5 times q1 plus 4. Are you able to follow? The number n here, which is the dividend, is nothing but divisor times the quotient plus 4. Divisor times quotient plus 4. Always remember, dividend is equal to divisor times the quotient plus 4. So dividend n is equal to divisor times quotient plus 4. Dividend q1 is equal to divisor times quotient plus 4 plus remainder. Sorry, I thought I think I said always the dividend is equal to divisor times quotient plus 4. It's not plus 4, it's plus remainder, right? The dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. So dividend n is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder 4. Dividend q1 is equal to divisor 9 into quotient q2 plus remainder 8. Dividend q2 equals to the divisor 13 into quotient q3 plus 12. Now if you see, I can substitute Q2 here, and I can substitute whatever Q1 here in this form. So try to get the number n. What will that number n be? N will be equal to 5 times Q1. What is Q1, by the way? Q1 is equal to 9 times of, what is Q2? Q2 is 13 Q3 plus 12. I'm writing it directly because I have very less space here. You can do it step by step also. So I've got 5 into Q1. Q1 is equal to 9 Q2 plus 8. So Q2 is 13 Q3 plus 12 plus 8. Right? This is substituted in 5 times there, and plus 4. You're able to follow? Substitute Q2 in this place and substitute Q1 in this place. So when you substitute Q2 here, what do we get? 9 times of 13 Q3 plus 12. So 9 times of 13 Q3 plus 12 plus 8. This multiplied by 5, because 5 times Q1 plus 4 is equal to n. Now simplify, what happens? 9 into 13 is 117 Q3, and 9 into 12 is 108. 108 plus 8 is 116. So 5 into 117, right? 9 into 13 is 117. 117 into 5 is, how much is 117 into 5? 117 into 5 is 500 plus 85. 585. 585 Q3 plus, look at this, 9 into 12, 108. 108 plus 8, 116. 116 into 5 is 500 plus 80. 580 plus 4, 584. 584. And done. So what did we get finally? We have found that the number n is equal to 585 times Q3 plus 584. So the number that we have been trying to divide, the number that he has talked about here is what? It is 585 Q3 plus 584. Now he says, if this number, if he had divided the number, which number? This number, by 585, what will be the remainder? Do I have to explain you what will be the remainder? What is the number? 585 Q3 plus 584 should be divided by what? 585. What will be the remainder? What will be the remainder here? The remainder will be 584, obviously, because see, this first part of this number is divisible by 585. 585 gets cancelled. 584 is left out, so that 584 is the remainder. So option 4 is the answer. Option 4 is the answer. You're able to follow? Now let me just explain you a shortcut. Remember, in this case, when you find that the number exactly is the product of these values, 5 into 9 into 13, you just observe that the difference between divisors and remainder is always constant. 5 minus 4, 1. 9 minus 8, 1. 13 minus 12, 1. So 585 minus 1, 584 should be the answer. Are you able to follow? If you observe closely, now that you have understood the whole process, I can talk about a technique. I don't want to give the technique directly. 5 minus 1 is 4. 9 minus 1 is 8. 13 minus 1 is 12. That is a smart way of answering it.